Stanyo, Clanyo, what is going on? It's been a while since we've been able to do a YouTube live. Happy Thursday evening. We're trying something new here tonight. We're going for a Thursday. I'm going to try to be more consistent, but welcome into Team Stanyo Live, where we're talking all things living and real estate and economics and fun stuff going on in Cincinnati. Thanks for joining us. As always, would love to hear from you. This is one of my favorite times of the week where I get to chat live with you guys. I know this is a new time slot, so we're giving it a shot. Maybe you're driving home from work, so maybe that's going to be a little bit harder for you to text in. But if you're at home, maybe you're working from home, maybe you're in a different time zone, you can jump in the chat. But what I'm trying to do here is be a little bit more consistent. I've got the home office set up now, so it's easier for me to do this at this time slot. I'm going to shoot for Thursdays at 5 p.m. Eastern, 5 to 6-ish, in that range, instead of Sunday evenings. See if more people can jump in, to see if I can be a little bit more consistent with these. So all kinds of good stuff coming up for you tonight. We're going to talk about the Cincinnati real estate market. What is happening in the fall here in Cincinnati real estate? What does that mean for you as a seller? What does it mean for you as buyers? Is the market actually softening? Can you take advantage of that, or is that going to hurt you? We're going to talk about that. We've got some economic news to share about Cincinnati. Some pretty cool headlines out there, and some companies that are growing, some jobs that are coming to the area. We're going to look at some fun homes as well. There's been multiple home shows in the area with Cincinnati's Homerama, with the parade of the different home shows around. So we're going to take a look at some of that, and stay tuned till the end, because I've got a private listing that's coming out in Indian Hill. I've been talking about this with some of my other videos lately coming out on the channel, that particularly if you're looking for an Indian Hill home, sometimes those can come off market. Well, I've got one of those for you coming up in this live, so stay tuned to the end, and I'll give you some of the details on that if you're interested in a potential off-market deal in maybe the most coveted, most luxurious neighborhood in Cincinnati, which is Indian Hill. So as always, let us know where you're watching from. Please interact in the chat. Love getting to answer your questions as we go throughout here. But let's just jump right in. Let's get into these market stats and see what we got going on here. So we're in the fall. Okay, we are now firmly in the fall. I know the weather has been warmer. It hasn't really felt much like the fall, but we are officially in the fall. We're October 9th, and I want to show you guys what is going on with the real estate market here in Cincinnati. If you've watched this before, we're going to go through kind of the median price. We're going to look at units that are for sale and the units for sold. We're going to look at the average price per square foot. We're going to look at the amount of inventory that's on the market and the days on market, and see if we can spot some trends that are helpful for you, whether you're looking to buy a home, whether you're looking to move to the Cincinnati area. Specifically, I say this a lot to buyers. Now with the channel, a lot of people are looking to relocate here, and we like being able to help you out. Now, you can buy or sell in any season. There are pros and cons to any season, but specifically what's happening in the real estate market right now and in this time of year, I think it's a great opportunity for buyers. Really, from now through January, this is a great time to buy. If you're a seller, then we need to have kind of a different conversation. Things are a little bit differently. Things are happening a little bit different. Things are softening a little bit. So let's take a look at the median price. So what we're looking at right now is the median price of sold homes going back over 2 years, back through September of 2023. And we're looking at the 4 largest counties in Cincinnati. So Claremont County, Butler County, Warren County, and Hamilton County. Hamilton by far has the most amount of sales, around 14,000, I think it was, over the past 2 years, whereas Claremont and Butler are, I think actually next up is Butler, around 4,000, and Claremont and Warren around 2,700 homes. So here's where we're at. The end median sale price over the last 2 years, or I should say at the end of September 2025, is coming in right at $310,000. Now, 2 years ago, in 2023, that number was $279,000 in these 4 counties for the amount of homes sold. So that is a roughly 15.7% change over the last 2 years. So whereas a lot of markets around the country have seen softening, have seen a lot of inventory increase, we've seen a little bit more inventory here, but not to the point where home prices have come down. In fact, they're averaging about a 7.5% increase in the median sale price over the last 2 years. And you're saying, hey, Eric, I thought you said it was a softening market. How is that good news? Well, take a quick drink. I'll tell you, because look at the trend lines here. Now, this is pretty familiar what we see in Cincinnati at this time of year, which is we see our peak in seasonality in terms of median sale price, usually right around June and July. So you can see that in 2025, the peak was actually above 310. It was probably closer to about 330 in terms of the median sale price. If you go back to 2024, you see kind of the same thing. The peak months were May, June, and July. And then you start to see it come down in August, September, October, November, December, January. That's a consistent trend. If you go back 2 years to 2023, you kind of see the same thing. You can't see June and July here, but I guarantee you it was peaked in August, probably came down a little bit. And then you see the trend line go down in the fall through the winter months. We're starting to see that again here. In fact, what we're seeing is a little bit more of an aggressive drop in August and September than we did in the previous 2 years. And so if I were to make a prediction, what's going to happen over the next few months? What's going to happen is the median sale price is going to come down. It's going to come down in October. It's going to come down in November. It's going to come down in December. It's going to come down in January. Now, these are trailing months. So these are homes sold. So these, homes were likely under contract the month before. Okay. So from now, October, November, December, these are really kind of your prime months. If you're a buyer, these are the prime months to look at discounts. And we'll keep showing the details as to why that is. But essentially, it's because inventory creeps up a little bit here, or at least days on market does. The people who are selling right now tend to be the sellers who want to sell, or who really want to sell, or who need to sell. Otherwise, if there are homes that have been on the market for 30 days plus, some of those sellers are starting to pull those homes off of the market, and they say, you know what, we'll give it a shot next spring, because that's when the peak buying months are. Going back to this, you see the home prices go up in, starting in February, March, April, May, and they kind of hit their peak there. But if you're a buyer right now, know that there's kind of good news and bad news, right? The good news is for the next few months, it could be a discount for you in terms of the year. The bad news is, going back over 2 years, home prices haven't come down. And so I kind of say this over and over again. It's like, yeah, you can try to time the market. You can try to time interest rates. But here in Cincinnati, we've seen steady growth for the last, 7 years-ish now. I mean, we saw huge growth in the pandemic, at least huge here for Cincinnati, which meant 10 to 15% growth a year. Now we're seeing steady 5, 6, 7% growth a year. So you could wait till next year, but you're going to, tack on another 3%, 4% to the sales price if you wait another 6 months. Now, what does this mean if you're a seller? We're going to get into this a little bit more with some of these other, but if you're a seller, some of these other charts here, if you're a seller, you need to know, look, the market is softening a little bit here. So if you're still on the market, you need to think through a few things. Let's look at a similar chart here. This is average price per square foot. And we hit a peak of, the end month here was 189. It started 2 years ago, is at 168 per square foot. Now this is the median, this is the average dollar per square foot monthly going back over 2 years now. So we just ended in September at 189. Again, there was a higher peak getting almost to $200 per square foot in June of 2025. That was the highest in the last 2 years. But again, going back over 2 years, you're up about 14%. So it's kind of a chart that's showing a pretty similar story right here. Okay. All right. So let's move on. Now, here's the chart I kind of want to show sellers, which is, this is the average sale price compared to the original price for no price changes, which is the darker blue, and at least one price reduction in the lighter blue. Okay. So what I want you to see here is this gap is growing a little bit larger between the homes that have had a price change over the last few months. If you go back, 2 years, sellers were getting closer to that list price. There wasn't a whole lot of price reductions going on because inventory was so low, but we've been creeping up ever so steadily in our inventory to where these price reductions are becoming larger. In fact, the average price reduction or the average sale price to original price is about 8.5% off if you're going to make a price reduction. Now, if you price it right, the average is still 100%. So this may be hard to understand. What I'm saying is this. If you're a seller right now, the market certainly is softening a little bit. Part of that is there's more inventory on the market than there has been in the last few years. Part of that is where we are at seasonality, which is we're in the fall and we're heading into those winter months. And while I'm saying to buyers that now's a pretty good time to buy, it's a good time to strike in terms of a discount. The other reality is less homes sell in these months. There's less buyer demand. So as you get into the winter or these later fall months in the winter, you have the holidays, the days get a little bit shorter, it gets a little bit colder. There's just a little bit less overall homes sold in these months. And so as a seller, that means if you need to sell your home right now, you need to kind of get in front of this. You need to be really smart about where you're pricing your home. What we're seeing is for the homes that didn't make any kind of price changes, it means they priced their home really well at the front end. They didn't get too aggressive. They understood where they were at in the market. They understood where the comps were at, and they didn't try to push it too hard. Okay. And you're still getting, for those sellers, they're getting 100% of the list price. But if you have to make at least one price reduction, you're looking at about 8.5%, 9% off your original list price. So let's just throw some numbers on that. If that's a $300,000 house, you're looking at a $27,000 off of the sale price. If that's a $500,000 house, you're looking at $45,000 off your list price if you didn't do it right the first time. So you got to be really, really careful if you're a seller in terms of who you're working with and where you're pricing that home to begin. You can't get too aggressive right now. The market is shifting. The buyers have more leverage right now than they've had in years. And you've got to know that as a seller. Now, the good news as a seller is if you've owned your home for several years, then you've benefited from all that appreciation over the last few years. But the bad news is, you need to understand where you're at, and you can't price it too aggressively right now. So let's keep going in these charts here, and we'll show a few more things, then we'll get into some of the news. Excuse me. Okay. And look at you guys jumping in here and watching. I like it. Feel free to jump in the chat where you're watching from. If you got any questions or comments, would love to hear. What are you guys feeling in the market? What are you seeing as well? And any questions you might have, we'll get into them. Next chart here is supply and demand. So this is in the red bars are the amount of units for sale over the last 2 years, and the green bars are the amount of units sold. And what I want to point your eye to here is look at the trend line in green, this line that's going through it. So that's kind of showing the amount of growth, and there's been growth. There've been a little bit more homes sold. It's up actually 33% over the previous year. And a lot of that was late 2023 is when we saw that big jump in interest rates. So there's been growth, but not nearly the amount of growth as the amount of homes for sale, which is 48% over the last few years. So you can see that gap kind of rising here, right? Over here, if you see it's kind of going this way in the red. What does that mean? Again, if you're a buyer, that's great news for you, right? You've got more homes to choose from. You're not having to be quite as crazy when it comes to your offer. You're finding more homes that are sitting on the market longer. You're finding more homes that are doing price reductions. You're able to put in an offer that has more negotiating power towards you. Why? Because the sellers have more competition. There's a little bit more inventory out there that they have to compare against, right? They can't just put any old house out there and it's going to be snatched up with 10 offers and over asking price and waiving inspections. We're not in that time period anymore. We're just not. Okay. So if you're a seller, like, this is a warning to you. Okay. Look at this chart again. Look at the amount of properties that are coming on the market versus the amount of properties that are sold. There's more properties coming on the market than there are homes, than in terms of the growth of being sold. I should say more homes are being sold, but the growth in the amount of homes coming on the market is greater than the amount of homes that are sold. Okay. Makes sense? Let me know. If you got questions, let me know on this. Just trying to walk you through it and what it means if you're a buyer or you're a seller, and how you can take advantage of it either way. You just got to understand kind of where the market's at. Make sure you're working with a team who understands this stuff, okay? All right, next up is the month supply of inventory. So kind of the same story here. So the bar chart that we're looking at is the month's supply of inventory. Now look, we're still not in a balanced market. A balanced market is when there's 6 months of inventory. 6 months of inventory, meaning if no new homes come on the market, everything will sell in 6 months. Where we're at right now is 1.8 months. 1.8 months. Now, I fully expect, if you look at this trend line, right, go back to 2024. Here we are in September of 2025. It bounced way up in August. There's a lot more homes sitting in September than there were in May, right? Or in April or in March. And you're going to see that same trend line. Look at the last 2 years. It's going to go up in November. It's going to go up in December, because you see that going back the last 2 years. That's what happens here in Cincinnati. The trend line is it's going to go up in November and December, and then it's going to plummet down. And why does that happen? Well, typically why that happens is, like I said, there's not as much buyer demand in these months. It's why I say to buyers, like, it's a great time to shop. Like, you're not fighting. There's more supply. They're lasting longer on market. You're not fighting against as many buyers, and you're going to see more discounts at this time of year. But from a seller standpoint, you're seeing that month supply of inventory creep up here. And along with that, you're seeing the days on market. So right here, you're seeing a days on market around 25. In fact, I'll show it in this chart. It shows it a little bit better. There's the average days on market and the average cumulative days on market. What's cumulative? Well, it's if somebody put their home on the market, maybe they took it off because it was, they withdrew it because they needed to make some repairs, and then they put it back on, something like that. So you're seeing the average days on market pop up to 26.7. Now, 2 years ago, that was at 19. So 27 compared to 19, right? That's a pretty big change. That's a pretty big change over the last 2 years in terms of how long properties are staying on the market. Again, if you're a buyer, you can take advantage of this. You don't have to move quite as fast. Now, homes can still sell quickly, right? We're still, we're not in a 6 months of inventory balanced market. We're still at 1.8. I'm going to guess that we're going to get over 2 again, probably next month, or maybe the following month. We'll get over 2 months supply of inventory. So you're going to have a few more options in terms of how long this inventory is going to stay on the market. So, but if you're a seller, again, you just got to be careful. We're not in the 6 months of inventory where we're going to see, because once you get up into that 3, 4, 5, 6 months of inventory, that's when you'll actually see. We're not seeing that here. We're not seeing prices come down. Like I showed you in those first charts, we're seeing an average of about 7.5% growth the last 2 years in terms of prices going up. So prices are going up because people, for a number of reasons, right? Cincinnati is still seen as somewhat of an affordable market. And, there's a lot of you who are out there looking. I spoke with someone this week from California, and he's like, hey, I've got family in Knoxville, and we're thinking of a move. We're looking at different areas to move to. In Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky, they're on our radar. That's a very common story. I'm talking to people every single day, almost every single week, who are looking to move here. And so that's kind of creating some of that additional buyer demand of people who are maybe getting priced out of California or New York or Florida or Texas. So we don't have so much inventory where prices are coming down. We're still at a place where prices are steadily going up. Not a ton, but they're steadily going up 5-7% a year right now. So that's where we're at from the real estate standpoint. All right. So let me know again. If you guys have questions about that, leave them in the chat and I'll get to them. But let's get into some news. Let me pull this up. Give me just 1 second. Let me stop that and add my news articles here. All right, let's check it out. Okay, so here we go. Lots of pretty cool news going on in Cincinnati. And yeah, we'll go this route. Well, sorry, I'm playing around here with this. Thanks for bearing with me. Let me make this a little bigger. Okay, here we go. So a few big wins for some companies here. Number one, Westchester Township manufacturer lands a $42.6 million Department of Defense contract. So CFM International was awarded with this contract from the U.S. Air Force for F-108 fan blades. The contract follows, we've done this this article on the channel before, the $2.8 billion F-108 engine supplies deal in July. CFM is a GE Aerospace Safran joint venture, supplies engines for military aircraft. So we've talked about this before, but the advanced manufacturing that is here in the Cincinnati area, whether it's in Westchester or around the airport at CVG with GE Aerospace, a lot of companies making investments here. They won this deal with the defense contract. That means jobs, right? Jobs are good for everyone. Jobs are good for the economy. Jobs are good for, obviously, the people who are getting the jobs, good for the surrounding business. But let's just say you just own a home here, right? Jobs are good for asset owners. Jobs are good for homeowners. You want to see that economy continue to increase. So we're really happy to see, deals like this get done. The U.S. Department of Defense has announced a multi-million-dollar partnership with Greater Cincinnati manufacturing company in Westchester Township headquartered. CFM International has been awarded a $42.6 million contract with the U.S. Air Force, according to September news released from the DOD. So there you go. Military engines going in Westchester. That's just article number one. Here's the next one coming up. All right, I'm going to butcher this name, but Givaudan breaks ground on a $215 million Cincinnati area project. This is the largest ever North American investment. So a Swiss multinational corporation has started construction on a new production facility in Greater Cincinnati, believed to be its largest ever investment in North America by dollar figure, and its largest current project worldwide. Givaudan Flavors Corporation leadership this week joined officials from the Port of Greater Cincinnati Development Authority, Ready Cincinnati, and the city of Reading for a groundbreaking ceremony at the 25-acre site on West Street in Reading. The company, whose North American headquarters are located in Bond Hill, is building a 100,000 square foot state-of-the-art liquids production facility. It expects to create more than 300 new jobs at the site over the next 15 years, representing a total annual payroll of $23.1 million, according to an enterprise zone agreement struck with Hamilton County in December 2024. So that's another huge news. So here is Reading Mayor. Without the vision of the Port of Greater Cincinnati to acquire and redevelop this site, this project would not have happened. Attracting Givaudan to the city of Reading was truly a collaborative effort among several economic development partners to transform underutilized property into a job-ready site for Givaudan to grow and prosper in the region. So another big win there. Love to see it. So we got a $42.6 million contract. We've got a $215 million investment going into Reading. And we got another one. Here's another big one. So the Finnish manufacturer to establish U.S. headquarters in Mason and create 30 high-paying jobs. So we got the Swiss and we got the Finns. So shout out, Scandinavian countries, right? Investing in Cincinnati. Love to see it. So a Finnish manufacturer is establishing its first North American facility with plans to locate it in Mason. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine announced Wednesday, October 8th, that Vilpi USA LLC was awarded incentives from the Ohio Tax Credit Authority for the establishment of its North American headquarters in Mason. The move is expected to create 30 full-time equivalent positions with a total payroll of more than $2.78 million. The average salary for those 30 jobs will be $93,000. Again, in conjunction with Ready Cincinnati and Jobs Ohio. So good job, Ready, bringing in these jobs, winning these deals. I love to see it. We did the video with BNKY, which is a similar organization on the Northern Kentucky side. And they recently launched their building at 1 NKY down by the Roebling Bridge. Ready is kind of a similar organization on the Cincinnati side, and you'd love to see it. Love to see these deals get won and bringing in more business to the Cincinnati area. The city of Mason has built a reputation as an ideal destination for global partners based on the connectivity to other companies here, access to talent, and quality of life, Mason City Manager Eric Hansen said in a news release. So they're going to build out their headquarters in 2 phases. A location was not disclosed for the project. And by creating 30 new jobs, this project demonstrates the confidence that over 450 international companies from 40 countries have in our market, and strengthens our position as a leading destination for foreign direct investment. Sierra Clymer, Senior Director of Business Development for Ready Cincinnati, said in the release. Now, I'm seeing that more and more as well. So again, good job, Ready. But I'm seeing more and more international companies looking to invest in the Cincinnati area for these reasons. There's a track record here. It's a great hub for location, just logistics wise. I believe you're getting to, I think the stat is you can drive to 70% of America's population within 1 day from Cincinnati. When you're looking to drive to New York or Florida or wherever that's at, we're centrally located. So you're seeing more and more international investment happen here in the area. In fact, there's a company in Florence, Kentucky that I've been working with multiple people who've been moving here from Mexico, the J-Bill around the Cincinnati airport. We've got some buyers right now. We've been looking at some resale homes, looking to buy their home here, but also I've been looking at new construction. And I think they're going to be landing on Miranda Homes in the, let's see, it's right on the edge of Burlington and Florence. I believe it's Burlington in their Pleasant Valley area. Is it Pleasant Valley? Valley Farms, I think it might be called Miranda Homes. So they're excited. They're looking to get a brand new home. And we're seeing more and more of that investment happen here in the area. And that's good for everyone. That's good for the economy. If you own a home here, then that's only going to help your property values, right? More jobs, more people moving in, everything rises. So we'd like to see it. Okay, so let's get into a little bit more news. We're talking about jobs, but we're also talking about how that's going to be impacting people, just from a lifestyle standpoint. And so when you see more jobs like this, you're also seeing a couple of headlines like this. Frontier Airlines is relaunching a service from CVG to LaGuardia starting in January 2026. So, there's a few airlines here. Delta had a hub here for years. Now we've got a few of these more affordable airlines like Frontier, Southwest, Allegiant that are flying out of CVG. But here's a new flight, or a flight that's Frontier is relaunching seasonal LaGuardia service. Until January 26. So they're going back to New York. Here's another one from Southwest that I want to mention as well. We'll launch flights to a new nonstop destination next summer. So starting in June of 2026, Southwest Airlines is going to launch a new flight from Cincinnati Northern Kentucky Airport to Austin, Texas next summer. So if you want to get down to Austin, this is good news for you. Nonstop flight from CVG down to Austin, Texas on Southwest. The low-cost carrier's announcement came as it made its summer 2026 schedule available for sale. It's part of an expansion of service at Austin Bergstrom International Airport in the growing Texas capital. The flight will operate daily, and they're always looking for new opportunities. So, these are just lifestyle wins, right? When you're seeing more jobs and more growth here economically, you're going to see more amenities like this and a little bit more passenger flights heading out of CVG. So I'd like to see that as well. All right, moving on here on some news. Now, we've got a Northern Kentucky neighborhoods report. Now, this isn't mine. We recently did a video on some top suburbs, but if you're interested in Northern Kentucky, I think this is a very interesting article you want to check out. But we'll go through it here. So these Northern Kentucky neighborhoods are tops in not only Northern Kentucky, but in the Commonwealth, in the great Commonwealth of Kentucky. So let's check it out. A pair of Northern Kentucky neighborhoods rank among the best suburbs in the Bluegrass State. In niches, and I refer people to niche.com a lot in terms of getting to know areas and school systems and rankings and crime and all that. Niche.com is a great third-party resource. But Niche, their best place to live ranking, the top 2 suburbs in Kentucky are actually located in Kenton and Campbell County, respectively. So Park Hills was ranked the #1 best suburb to live in Kentucky, with Fort Thomas coming in right behind. In total, 6 of the top 10 suburbs to live in Kentucky are located in Northern Kentucky, as well as scoring 10 of the top 20 So what are they looking at in terms of these rankings? They're looking at the Consumer Price Index and access to affordable housing. They're looking, which comes up with their living grade. They're looking at the higher education rate, the percentage of residents who have a bachelor's degree or higher. They're looking at a housing grade, which is based on home values, property taxes, housing costs, local schools, and more. That's 10% of their grade. And they're looking at their public schools grade based on an average niche K through 12 overall grade for every public school serving the area. And that also weighed in 10% of their factors. So other factors include diversity grade, composite overall score, crime and safety, family grade, health and fitness, jobs grade, and a nightlife grade. So what does that look like overall? Here is your list. Okay, so we've got the Northern Kentucky suburbs and how they rank overall in Kentucky. So Park Hills came in #1 in Kentucky. You might want to check out Park Hills. Very charming homes up around DeVue Park. A+ for their niche overall grade, A- for schools. A population of only 3,100 people, so it's not a big area. In fact, let me just pull it up real quick so you guys can see where Park Hills is if you're not familiar. You've got some views from DeVue Park. Let me open this in maps so you guys can kind of see Park Hills. So right here, you're just a few minutes from downtown Cincinnati. You've got some beautiful old charming homes. A lot of these are probably built in the early 1900s to 1920s, kind of in that range. You've got Covcath High School and Notre Dame, Mount Notre Dame as well, right here in Park Hills. And you're like I said, you're literally just a few minutes from downtown Cincinnati. So this is ranked #1 overall in Kentucky. So that's big news. #2 is coming in at #2 is my hometown. #2 ranked suburb in Kentucky is Fort Thomas. I love Fort Thomas. I love living here. I've mentioned it many, many, many times on the channel. It's a great place to live. Overall niche grade of A+, public schools A+. Bigger city here of 17,000. But you can go down the list because you've got others in the top 10. You got Edgewood, Union, which we sell. A lot of people are interested in Union for the schools, for the overall niche grade as well. Edgewood is also fantastic. This is where my wife grew up, in Edgewood, Kentucky. Great place to live. Villa Hills and Wilder rounding out the top 10 in all of Kentucky. But then in terms of the other suburbs in Northern Kentucky, Fort Mitchell, Crestview Hills, Crescent Springs, and Fort Wright also rounding out in the top 25. So what do you guys think about that? If you're watching this later, leave a comment down below. Curious what you think about these rankings. Would you call Park Hills the #1 suburb in all of Kentucky? Niche.com does. And Fort Thomas #2, Edgewood #4, Union #6. I was just in Villa Hills this week, looking to get a house. I've got a seller who's going to list probably next spring, just getting the home ready. I do like Villa Hills a lot. Man, guys, I recorded a video earlier today as well. So my voice is really feeling it. So sorry for the extra water breaks. I should have got some hot water. So we might have to wrap this thing up pretty quick. My eyes are watering. You guys see this? Woo. Okay. What else do we want to hit tonight? There's a few other things I wanted to touch on. Okay, so we've had Home Fest. Well, that's Home Fest 2016. We've had Home-A-Rama in 2024. So let me make this full screen here. This is out in Foundry Park in Oakley, Ohio. And just wrapping up. So these are some of the top home builders in the Cincinnati area. You've got Ashford, Gorman, Somerset, WP Land, Classic Living, Heritage, Justin Doyle. Building these homes here in Home-A-Rama. So this is just wrapping up. Every year here in Cincinnati, we have this home show where the top custom builders are showcasing these homes, and they're also choosing, like, they're doing this neighborhood together. So you can take a look here at kind of the map, what this looks like here in Oakley. Oakley has really popped the last few years. A lot of development has happened around Oakley. And this is a really cool spot where you can walk to a lot of the restaurants. You can walk to Oakley Greens. You got a major Kroger right there. You got Crossroads Church right there as well. But this is a very cool area. These beautiful custom homes. A lot of them have sold already. But if you have any interest in this, the reason I really like Oakley, let me show you where we're at on the map here. Oakley is a great spot, I would say, for young professionals. If you're wanting kind of some walkability, if you want to walk to Mad Tree Brewing, but also easily get to downtown, right? So you're not going to quite have Hyde Park prices. You're not going to have Madeira, Marymount prices, although Oakley has gone up quite a bit. But I find Oakley, there's a lot of housing in here that, now certainly the prices have gone up in recent years, but it can be really good for first-time home buyers. Can be really good for young professionals in this area. So Homerama, let me see if I can find right up here is where we're looking. The Foundry, I believe. Let me see if I got that right. Foundry Park, I think got that target right. Foundry Park, Homerama. Yep, is right here. And what you can do is, in terms of walkability right here, well, before I put him down, let me just show you what's over here. You got your Planet Fitness, you got Dave's Hot Chicken, you've got plenty of restaurants here, spas, Mi Cozumel. You've got some hotels here as well. Let's see, here's Crossroads Church, here's Kroger Marketplace, here's Mad Tree Brewing, Oakley Station Dog Park. So here's Foundry Park right here. So all this is walkable. And the other one I went up to recently, which I had a blast at, if you haven't been there, is Oakley Greens, right across the street. This is a super fun outdoor, pretty intense putt-putt place. It's really difficult, but it's a great place to grab a beer. You can take your family here because they got the playgrounds and it's all fenced in. All this is right here in Oakley. So I really like this. And again, going back to Foundry Park, most of these homes are sold, but if you want one of these beautiful custom homes, a few of them are still out there. Contact us. Would love to put you in touch with these builders. Now, again, we always talk about this on the channel, but if you're thinking new construction, you're going to want to reach out to us first. Get your real estate agent in place first before you go and talk to these builders. And the reason why is most of these builders, every time they'll pay our commission. So if you don't work with a real estate agent, you don't have to. You can work with the builder directly. But the advantage is sometimes we can negotiate for you. Sometimes during the build process, it's just nice to have an agent be working for you who can guide you through the process. If things do go a little wonky, which things in new construction, by the way, can go a little wonky, it's just nice to have an agent on your side. And if you reach out to us first, then they're going to pay our commission. We'll get you registered with the builder. We're going to threshold you. And this is whether it's a custom builder, a luxury home builder here in the Cincinnati area, or some of the larger production builders like Fisher Homes, Dries Homes, MI Homes, DR Horton, Arlene House builders like these as well. If we register you with the builder first, they're going to pay our commission. Now you get the best of both worlds. You get an agent to negotiate on your behalf and be with you throughout the entire process, make sure your ducks are in a row, and you're working with the builder, and they're going to want to sell you the house. They're going to want to make sure you're happy as well. So always recommend, if you're thinking new construction, man, I'm dying, guys. I'm dying today. Reach out to us first. So I want to show you guys this at Foundry Park. I'm going to show you a few others as well. In addition to Home and Rama on the Cincinnati side, we've got this showcase of homes at Triple Crown. So this is on the south end of Triple Crown. There's been this parade, these home tours here, and you've got Cutter Homes, Dries, Farmer House. You've got Fisher Homes, and you've got Guston Construction here. And I'll show you a few of these homes as well. So these are on like I said, the south side of Triple Crown, kind of surrounding, what hole is that? I want to say it's like hole 6 down there. You've got Cutter Homes, Custom Homes. You've got Dries Homes. So Dries is a family-owned and operated builder. We do a lot with Dries Homes here locally. We really like their product. High quality builder. They won National Builder of the Year. They've won Professional Builder Magazine. This is known as the prestigious Triple Crown. So this is they did their own kind of custom home here in Triple Crown. You've also got Farmer House by Darren Farmer, who's a custom home builder here. So founded by Brooke and Darren Farmer. It's built on the belief that when you build a home, you build a family. I like that. That's speaking to my heart here. So named exclusive Southern living custom home builders from Northern Kentucky and Cincinnati region, Brooke and Darren combine over 25 years of construction experience with a passion for thoughtful design and family-centered living. Got Fisher Homes out there as well. We also do a lot with Fisher Homes, both in Triple Crown and Ballyshannon and Ohio, all around, Goshen and Harrison and Trailhead and all these places. And then you've got Guston Construction. And so some of these homes have been sold. Some of them are still available. There's 1 or 2 lots, I think, left out there as well. And I want to show you just where this one is. So let me do Triple Crown Boulevard. And this is actually going to be on kind of the south side here. Show you the golf course is right here. And we are looking at the affirmed section. And I can't get my guy on the street because it's a little too new. But right up here is on the affirmed section here in Triple Crown is where these homes have been built. So this is a little outdated. There's going to be a few more homes built up right here. Beautiful homes on the Kentucky side. So you got Homerama, you got the showcase of homes. Now I'm going to show you guys one more time. So I promised you on the outset that I was sent a private home that's coming off market here in Indian Hill. Indian Hill, highly exclusive, if not the most exclusive neighborhood here in Cincinnati for good reason. Private estates, everything is going to be at least an acre in Indian Hill, if not more. Ultra private. Okay. So some of the, generally speaking, the highest price home sales and the most luxurious home sales in the Cincinnati market are in Triple Crown. So I got sent a private listing that I want to show you guys today. And this is still off market. So you guys are getting a sneak peek here. This is a coming soon property. Occasionally these will come. Not all the time, but like if you're in the inn and, you can get access to some of these properties before they hit the general market. So let me pop over here and show you guys this home. In fact, let me refresh it. So this is 9600 Lakeside Estates Drive in Cincinnati. It's listed for $1.695 million. And it is coming soon here in Indian Hill. So this is set on 1.2 acres in Lakeside Estates in Sims Township. The Heritage Series Custom offers 10 feet main level ceilings, a stained beam great room, and seamless indoor-outdoor living. Just kind of show you guys some of the photos here. 4 bedrooms. This is 3 full bath, 2 half bath, 3,976 square feet on a 1.2 acre lot. And let's go through some of the photos here. So really nice. Look at these views off the back, that privacy. I love that. All this natural light coming in. Beautiful. Great job. Love that kitchen. Love the beams in the great room. You've got dining and this really large island, so you can just gather everyone in this open floor plan. I really like that. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seats around this island. So, obviously people are going to gather here all the time, which is great. And you've got all this seating around kind of your eat-in kitchen dining room here. Beautiful. So half bath and laundry room looks like on the first floor. You got a dog shower here, another bathroom. You've got kind of a wine fridge and a little butler's pantry here. Covered outdoor space with fireplace. Screened in 3-season room here. I love that. Great place to watch your Bengals games. You got a heater out there as well and the fireplace. Here's your office on the first floor. Look at these private wooded views. I love that. Looks like you got a little loft area up at the top of the steps. Here's your primary bedroom with ensuite, dual vanity, tiled shower. You've got a soaking tub as well. Really like these selections. It's second bedroom, double vanity, third bedroom. Okay, here's your basement with, so this is unfinished space, but obviously a great spot for a home gym, outdoor patio, as well as a patio with a hot tub, 3-car garage. And look at this setting. I love this. You got a little pond in the back with a gazebo, or I guess that's off the front. Love the stone wrap and the brick. Must have a wood burning fireplace because they've got the wood there. Yeah, these windows are great, letting in so much light. And then you've got the walkout basement as well. What a beautiful home. Just a beautiful home. So if you're interested in this one, like I said, give us a shout. And here you can get a feel for some of the other states on this street. And you've got all this privacy in the back, which is just fantastic. Really love that. So beautiful property coming soon. If you're interested in a private showing on that, reach out to us at Team Stanyo. You can call me 513-813-6293 or email us directly info@teamstanyo.com, and we will get you guys a private showing into that one. Okay. I think that's going to about wrap it up. I'm heading over to our neighbors tonight for a celebration. Our family is celebrating a biblical festival this week, the festival, the Feast of Booths or Tents or Sukkot. It's been a fun week. We have a huge event that our church is hosting on Saturday night. We're planning on having like 300 people. We have so much brisket ordered. It's going to be amazing. We're going to be camping out. We're going to have fires. We're going to have bourbon. We're going to have cigars. I love my church. It's fantastic. So if you're interested in that and you're in the area, you want to come, hit me up and I will send you an invite. But we're going to be in Southern Campbell County. All are welcome. Bring your camping chair and have a good time on Saturday night. Tonight, I'll be heading over to my neighbor's house for something similar here, but just on our street. So we're excited about that. A little dad life I'll share. We went up to Kings Island because the Bengals are absolutely wretched right now. They're terrible. Jake Browning 2025 is not the same Jake Browning as 2023. So we're bringing in old man Joe Flacco. Who knows? I mean, I'm glad they did it. Like maybe I'll watch the game, but I'll talk Bengals a little bit more. If you guys want to talk Bengals in the chat, let me know. Drop a line. But we went to Kings Island instead of watching them get pummeled by the Lions, because I'm like, I know what's going to happen with this one. And I just want to show you guys this real quick. I went and, I just like roller coasters. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, this is me when I get to ride roller coasters. This is me on Banshee. We rode it twice. It's super fun. And what's hilarious to me about this is, like, I did not used to like roller coasters. I was scared to death of roller coasters until I was like a high schooler. And I really didn't even like them that much into that. But recently, I think some of you guys may know if you're watching this channel, I took my 13-year-old up to Cedar Point. I've never been to Cedar Point before, and it is like the mecca of roller coasters. And something has gotten into my blood. Like after riding, Millennium Force and then Maverick and Steel Vengeance, and then getting on Top Thrill 2, which just blew my mind. Okay. It just opened up another level of adrenaline that I didn't know that I had in my life. And ever since then, I've just kind of been like watching YouTube, scrolling through different roller coasters around the world. I don't know. And so so now we go up to Kings Island, and we still got some great ones there. We've got, Orion and Diamondback and Banshee as well, which is a lot of fun. And I make this face when I get to ride roller coasters now. So that's fun. And I get to go do it with my kids and have fun. And, it's just a good time. It's a good time. It's one thing I love about Cincinnati. As I've been watching these roller coaster and amusement park videos on YouTube, what I've noticed is, like, I'm not taking Kings Island for granted. Like, it's consistently people who come here to this park. Not that we have maybe the best roller coaster lineup. It's really good. Like, our top 5 stack up, it seems, compared to other parks. When you go with, Orion, Diamondback, Banshee, the Beast, and then maybe Mystic Timbers, or maybe even the Racer, if you throw that in there. it stacks up, but it's really how the park is run. And I think I just kind of take for granted how well it's run, how good the employees are, how clean it is, like how fast the service is, how short the lines are. So I'm not taking that for granted. I love that here in Cincinnati. So shout out Kings Island. It gives me it gets that kind of face out of me when I get to go there. So, all right, guys, that'll do it for tonight. I hope that's helpful for you to understand what's going on in the market, what's going on some in the news, and hopefully we'll be able to line this up next week as well. Thursday, 5 o'clock. We're going to try to set this in the calendar, be more consistent to give you guys what's going on in the real estate market in Cincinnati. Appreciate you guys for watching. Share this with a friend. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already, and we will see you in the next one. Have